Mice, mice, baby. Boom, 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 bada boom, boom. Alright, now, take a look at this building here. And just see if you notice anything out of the ordinary that maybe might not be on or near other buildings. Now take a look at this house here. Do you notice anything out of the ordinary? Other than the fact that I let the weeds get out of hand in the garden area, which is something I tend to do when I get near the end of the, growing season, the summer and the early fall. Speaking of summer and the early fall, that's the time of year that mice like to move in. So you got to figure out how to keep those suckers from getting in your house. And on closer inspection, here is the thing that's out of the ordinary. What do you think that is right there? That there is a mouse poison bait station. Now, what would you want out of a mouse poison bait station? What things would you want? Well, first thing is, you won't want to have it get blown away in the wind. You won't want to have it noticeable when people are just walking by. You want to, of course, be able to keep the mouse poison dry. And you don't want pets like a dog getting into it and eating the poison. So, for years and years, I wrestled with these items here. And if you go and look at any mouse poison station that the exterminator will leave, or one that you can buy in the store, they tend to be made out of plastic, which a weed whacker will destroy in just one time. The wind will blow it away, and it's very easy for the dog to get in them, open them up, and take the poison out and eat it. And you certainly wouldn't want to have that. So, how do you solve all those problems? So often that dogs in these videos, and he doesn't serve much of a purpose in them, but here he kind of does. You spend a lot of money on a dog nowadays with initial cost and vet bills and stuff. Last thing you want them to do is get in the mouse poison and either cost you a whole bunch more money or kill the dog. So you got to have some way of killing the mice, but not killing your pets. And this is what I came up with several years ago. This unit here takes care of all those problems. It's basically a concrete block, a half concrete block, with 2 pieces of green treated plywood on the side, a hole for your mice to get in, and a piece of 1/4-inch threaded rod with a wing nut on it to take the 2 sides apart to refill it with more poison and clean it out occasionally. So I'll take this apart and show you how I load her up with poison and how easy it is to use. Alright, that's all there is to it, sports fans. I got 2 pieces of plywood. I use green treated plywood. Some of this plywood probably needs to be replaced one of these days. I use green treat, so it holds up quite a bit longer than regular plywood. I wouldn't recommend using regular plywood. I'd say use green treated. And a piece of threaded rod that sandwiches the 2 pieces between this half cement block. And you just put your poison in there and put the wing nut on the bolt, and that's all there is to it. So I'm going to clean out last year's poison there. It looks like the mice ate it all, and I'll put in more. Alright, there's a number of different types of mouse poisons out there, and they'll have different active ingredients, so that's why I use 3 different kinds. So I'll generally put a block of that in there, and then a block of this type. This one's Hawk by brand name. This is Tomcat. And then I put a bag of Decon in there. And after I clean it out, the first thing I do is I take a scraper and I scrape out any old crud, poison, mud, what have you, spider webs. And then after that, I just take my pieces of plywood and I just put that threaded rod through that hole and put my wing nut back on and put the bait station back where it was, and I'm good for another year. Okay, there we go. I put it all back together and I'll put it back in place, and it's good for another year. I suppose you put that wing nut on tight enough, so you need to use pliers to take it off. It also prevents kids from getting in it, so another added benefit. And the nice thing about these, like I said, when they're sitting next to a house, particularly a house with a exposed concrete foundation, these are the exact same color, so you don't even notice them. So there we go. It's all set for another year. I usually put one of these on each corner of the house, in each corner of an outbuilding, and it does a pretty good job. You know, and then the next year when you go to refill your poison, you can kind of monitor how much is used. I also use them inside a garage. In this case, I got them over there in that corner. I used to have one in each corner of the garage, but I found that there was no activity of mice there, but there was activity over here. So I just put both of them in this area. Same is true over here. I used to have one in this corner of the garage, but none of the poison ever got ate. So then I put them on this corner of the garage, and they eat it. And boy, I tell you one thing, they really help cut down on mice getting in your house. What you want to do is keep the mice out of the house to begin with, and they're outside before they go inside. So, and they're looking for food all the time. You got these bait stations here. Those mice will go right in through those holes, and they'll eat that poison, and they'll be dead before they ever move into your house. All right, I got a couple of bait stations here that were in the garage. And another kind of cool thing about this is when you take these out each year to refill them, you can kind of monitor the activity. And I got some kind of good news here. Even though the mice ate all the poison on the ones outside of the garage, they haven't really eaten too much on the ones inside the garage. So we're killing them before they get in the premises for the most part. There is some activity in this one here. It looks like they like the taste of the tomcat bait better than the hawk. So that's something, and doesn't look like they like the decon at all. So that's in perfect shape. But the good news there is we don't have a whole lot of activity in the garage, and that's a good deal. So I'll put these things back in there, and I think that poison's just fine, so I think it can go another year. I put them in each corner of my shed here too, because when you're working on things, stuff tends to get banged up and stuff when you're moving around. Sometimes you're washing a floor, but and also the dog's in here, so it's just a good way to prevent the dog from getting to the mouse poison. It's worked good for me for a number of years, and you know, it didn't cost much to make. They won't blow away in the wind. They won't get destroyed by a weed whacker. It keeps the mouse poison dry. They're heavy enough where even small children probably aren't going to mess with them. I don't know. I don't think there's anything more you could want in a mouse bait station. And these have worked really well for me for years. So if you liked what you saw here, I'd appreciate it if you liked, shared, subscribed, you know, do all the things to make this #1 channel on YouTube, and we'll see you again here next time on the Fix Yourself channel.